Hello, it's your main man, Darren M. Palmer. I appreciate you for joining the Books and Business Podcast. You could be someone who's listening into this and you're thinking to yourself, hey, with inflation, with taxes, things like that, I got to find another way. Maybe you have been furloughed. Maybe you're looking at something, hey, I've been able to have a buyout, or I'm at retirement, or I'm somebody young, or I'm out of college. I'm not having the life that I desire. Then we want you to reach out to us. We want you to find a way. We're looking for experts. We're looking for people who want to be experts in a particular field to have a profession or a career. Look at joining us. Come join us. Get your license. Join a noble industry that's making an impact and helping securing futures and helping people be protected as far as their finances and go to the next level and live the American dream. This is Darren M. Palmer with the Books and Business Podcast. Reach out to us at Prosperity Partners Agency. We would love to be able to work with you. Hello, everyone. It's your main man, Darren M. Palmer, Chief Book Officer of Self-Publishing 30 Days and the host of the Books and Business Podcast. Oh, do I have a treat today? Some people are wondering, Darren, is it October already? Man, no, it's not trick or treat, man. I'm telling you, we got the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Judge Graham on. Judge, welcome to the show, buddy.
Oh, appreciate to be here. Good seeing you.
Man,
glad to be on.
Man, I'm glad to have you here, man. I'm glad to see you. Judge, I'm just going to share a little bit, and I want you to share a little bit about yourself. But I got to just commend and thank you, number one, for being the man that you are. You're going to hear, it's going to be in the show notes. You'll be able to Google. You'll be able to get the receipts, as they say today, Judge, when it comes to this man and what he's done in business, being a titan of industry. But what I have grown from is having Judge pour into my life, not only as a business owner, but as a man, and to see how he loves his wife, how he loves his boys, the things that he does for his parents and his community is something that is infectious. And I believe that everybody needs a Judge Graham in their life. So I know the people like, oh, Darren, man, you starting a Lifetime movie already. You gonna have us crying. I'm just telling you, you gotta have the right people in your life, and Judge Graham is that person. So before you start seeing all the things and the companies and the books and the masterminds and the thousands of people that he has touched all over the world, keep in mind, too, the intrinsic value that Judge Graham has, that he exudes and that he pours out into the world. So I'm not telling you because this is somebody randomly that I brought on as a guest. I'm telling you as a man first, my appreciation for this gentleman and why I'm bringing somebody who's near and dear to my heart to be able to pour into you all. So, Judge, thank you for coming once again. And can you share a little bit about who you are and also what you got going on around these times?
Yeah, amazing intro. Thank you, and I appreciate your friendship and the kind words. Awesome. So, been a serial entrepreneur my whole life, right? Started when I was little itty bitty, selling pencils and watches and whatever I could sell, and I always knew I had a purpose that I wanted to make money, and I think it's an important purpose, right? I mean, people talk about sometimes money doesn't create happiness, and I think there's a lot of truth in that. But I also think that money allows you to do things that do make you happy, right? And so I think money is an important thing to talk about in the household, to talk about with your children, to talk about with your employees, to talk about with your partner, to talk about with your friends, because the environment that we're in, money is critical, right? Money is critical in order to achieve things that allow you to become healthier, that allow you to become happier, that allow you to do things that you can't do without money, right? So money has always been a huge motivator for me. So entrepreneur my whole life, started a digital agency right out of college, grew that agency, sold it for a pretty good amount, flipped it again, sold it again, and then sold another one. And at that point, wrote a couple books, became a mentor, did some masterminds, and now am a partner in 2 businesses that we're looking to continue to grow and sell those as well.
Awesome, awesome. And Judge, I appreciate that. And for those out there who are wondering, let's just say he didn't sell the businesses for 7 figures. You got to go up a little bit. You got to go up a little bit when we start looking at that. So when you hear him talk about a little business, I mean, he's a modest man, but there were several figures there, that Judge was able to sell those businesses for.
8, 9.
Eight, nine. I'm just tossing that up in the air. You didn't know I had juggling skills, and so when I look at that, this is somebody once again he's about that life. He lives it. He understands the work ethic, and that's something else too, Judge. I want to ask you first, for those who are looking at growing and they want to go like, man, that's cool. I saw Judge, saw him in all these magazines. I saw the reports. I saw the YouTube videos. I've seen what he's doing building cultures, those multiple exits that he's been able to do. Can you share about the work ethic and the focus that you had to have, Judge, to be able to pull off some of these great feats that you've been able to accomplish? Because you wasn't just resting in at soccer games every day and home by 3 or 4 o'clock in the evening to be able to accomplish some of these things that you did early on or whatnot in your career. Is that correct?
Yeah, the only thing that rewards results is work, right? And in the one piece of counsel I want to give, if whoever's listening to this, is entrepreneurs never sacrifice enough. Right. And what I mean by that is the best counsel I can give anybody on here is everybody just makes it painful enough and they never realize the success. Right. If you've ever seen that meme and it's got the little miner and he's picking away at the gold. Right. And he just stops short about 10 feet from finding that gold. Well, that's what happens with entrepreneurs, right? And when I say sacrifice, you've got to burn the ships. You've got to go all in, right? If you want to achieve whatever it is, you have to be willing to sacrifice whatever it takes. And most people just don't want to do that. And so you've got to be aligned with, that sacrifice is ugly, right? I mean, when I exited my first business, I wasn't a good father, probably wasn't a good husband, right? I mean, I was aligned with my partner though on this is what it's going to take, and do we want to do it? And I'm not going to be at these birthday parties. I'm going to miss these things, and I'm going to regret that. But that's what is required right now to win. And so, I hope people don't have to experience that. But I'm just telling you, there's a level of sacrifice that is a requirement for an outcome that you want to achieve. And most people talk that they will do that sacrifice, but aren't willing to really do it.
And Judge, that was important for me to bring that up because let's fast forward that now. So let's look at the dad that you are now. Let's start off the husband that you are now. I see you and my sister. I see y'all out. You can see at some, see at some concerts, some things like that. You're enjoying time or whatnot at the estate. I'm seeing you there with a 7-on-7 with the boys. You're at the games, the whole nine. But I gotta ask you that because they can see it now and they think that was the whole journey. The Judge this whole time was there. And so it has been a manifest destiny or whatnot far as you getting to the point that you are now. But I do have to ask you this, Judge, because you've seen the good, the bad, the ugly on this roller coaster called entrepreneurship. So is it worth it, Judge? The life that you have now, what you're doing for your wonderful wife, your Proverbs 31 woman, what it's doing for those kings that you have over there at your households, was it worth it, Judge, to sacrifice?
100%. But again, I was aligned, and my partner and I were aligned, and we put a timetable to it. Right. That's the other thing that people don't do enough is, you've got to have a plan and you've got to have a deadline. Without a date, nothing's real. Right. So you've got to go, what do you want? Why do you want it? And when do you want it? And when you get clear with that, now you can build the plan and the sacrifice required in order to achieve that. But you got to go achieve it, right? Because if you don't sacrifice enough, you don't work hard enough, you don't achieve it enough, then all of that was for nothing.
Wow.
So yeah, 100%. I would do it, again and again and again, but I would commit to making sure you win.
Man, that's it. And Judge, when you bring that up, for those who are listening, please pay attention to this. This is imperative that you get this. Some of you are getting slack, or you having people push against you because you have start and stopped everything that you've ever done. So your credit with others, when it comes to that, they don't see you as credible because last time they saw you, you had vitamins. Last time they saw you, you had carpets. Last time they saw you, you were selling modems, and you never stuck with anything. So every time they see you at that family reunion or that cookout or that church event, you got something new, but you haven't stuck with anything, or you haven't won in anything. And I don't know if you know it or not, but in football, and I know Judge did this, and we're going to tap into his football experience too as well, but it's a game of inches. So regardless how you feel about it, Russell Wilson, even though they were right there on the half-inch line, didn't win a Super Bowl against Tom Brady. Why? Because they didn't get into the end zone. And I think when it comes to the proper mindset, some of the things that I've been able to learn from Judge as well is because you got to have the mental fortitude, because this is not, this type of thing where everybody get an award, they get a participation trophy. No, this is real world, real life. And you can be on a half-inch line, or just like that depiction of the person who's minding or looking for the goal in entrepreneurship, and they're quitting and stopping short. Guess what? You don't have the fruits of your labor because you did not win. And so you can be close, but at the same time, it could be fourth and inches, but it's a change of downs and the other people have the ball if you don't make sure that you get where you need to go. So make sure that you understand that what Judge is sharing with us and pouring into us is you have to win. It's not I tried, as we say down south, I'm fitting to, I know that's not proper English coming from the publisher, but you have to execute and get that done or whatnot. And Judge, when we talk about getting things done, how have you been able to also reinvent and take this same transferable skills into other industries? Because I've watched you, man. I mean, you have went into other industries, but taken the same kind of principles and values, and you has translated that into other wins. And some people are still trying to figure out how to win in one industry, and you have been able to do it in multiple industries, whether it's books, whether it's masterminds, whether it's lending, whether it's helping businesses grow. So what goes into your mind when it comes to how have you been able to reinvent yourself so smoothly?
The playbook's the playbook, right? I mean, whether you're pushing pencils, watches, marketing, phones, whatever it is, when you fully understand the game of business, those core ideologies and concepts carry over, right? It's a different product you're pushing. It's a different service you're pushing. But when fundamentally at the core, you understand people, you understand sales, you understand marketing, you understand how to build cultures, you understand how to motivate, engage, and inspire people to go win at scale, it really doesn't matter what you're selling as long as you understand those things.
Ooh, man, come on now. Hey, y'all get the Cash App, get the Zelle. Somebody invoice Judge Grant. We gotta make sure you're paying for this game here today on Books and Business Podcast. Those are the things. Those are transferable. The basics are the basics. You don't get away from, if you're in basketball, from doing layups or doing free throws. I don't care how much you can dunk. You don't get away from the fundamentals. Same thing when it comes to football or whatnot. You got to get those 2-a-days in. You got to have repetition. You got to go through the playbook. You got to know how to have, no matter how athletic you are, there are certain things that you cannot get away from or whatnot if you're going to call yourself successful and to be able to move on. And I got to ask you this, Judge. You've written several books. So what made you actually become an author? And why did you choose the subject matters that you chose for the books that you created?
Well, I think in what you're doing is wonderful, right? A book is a long-lasting legacy that sticks around when I'm gone,
Yeah.
right? And it was, for me, something that was a milestone that I wanted to achieve, and that I wanted to, at some point, my grandkids had something to remember about their grandfather or great grandfather, right? In a book allows you to do that. The other thing is I believe that in karma, right? I mean, if I've made a few bucks and I have any knowledge I can instill on somebody else to make a few bucks, then I wanted to do that, right? So it was twofold. One, I wanted a legacy piece, and two, if there was a way for me to give back with any knowledge that I've used to become somewhat successful, I wanted to put that out there in the ether.
Awesome, man. And so, you know, I want to bring this up for some business owners who are listening to what Judge is sharing. You got to have a big enough why. And it's a phrase or a saying that I love to have. Well, wise man told me, he said, Darren, wherever you have clarity of vision, you have acceleration to the known goal. And so when you understand legacy, when you understand what this is about, why is it that somebody who's already had 8 or 9 figure exits, why is he creating content? Why is he taking time? He doesn't have to do that. He could be somewhere else or whatnot with a multi, whatnot, laying on the beach, but he understands impact. He understands influence. He understands legacy, not only for just him and his family, but for others, that he can help transform lives or whatnot and be the change. It's not going to come from DC. It's not going to come from London or other parts of the world. It's going to come from people like Judge, people like me, people like you, that's going to be the ones who are changing the world through free market capitalism. And so, Judge, when you share that, some of the business owners think, well, I don't have time and I don't have this. That's why we brought up the clarity of vision, because you will make time and you will have a formula. If it's something that you don't do well, you're able to partner with people to be able to help facilitate and get this thing done. Even right now, when we're putting this together, me, Judge, are not putting this together. We don't know everything about sound bites and everything with lighting cameras, but we're able to allow for people that who do what they do to be able to do that, to be able to provide value to you all, to go out there and win in life. And more than ever, we got to win in life. And Judge, what does entrepreneurship mean to you? What is the value, and why should people be entrepreneurs if they want to create the life that they desire?
Well, I think it's the only outlet that allows you to do that, right? I mean, um, it's it's on you, right? So, if you're going to bet on somebody, you want to probably bet on yourself, right? And if you start to become good at it, you start to understand talent, people, the right partners, and you put that together and you create, there's a misconception, right? I mean, entrepreneurship is tough,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you got to be built differently, right? You have to have mental fortitude, mental toughness. You have to have uh, a very low ego, right? I mean, there's a misconception that, oh, I'm an entrepreneur because I'm the boss. No, dude, I'm the employee of everybody, right? Of the customers, of the partners, or whatever. I mean, it's you have to have a level of humility, right? You have to understand the bigger picture, and you have to know when to sacrifice certain things and let certain things go. I mean, that's critical to being a successful entrepreneur, right? You have to be able to multitask that, and most people can't do it. But if you can figure it out, it allows you. It's the only vehicle that allows you to hit the dreams that you want.
Man, and that's it. And the tough part, just to be able to extract and pull from what Judge shared, is that it's going to be tough because it's a 2.0 version of you that you haven't reached yet. So there's some practices that you're going to have to take, and then you're going to have to be, do, and have. So by you implementing these things, you're creating new habits. So you want to be a millionaire, but do you have millionaire habits? If some people are so focused on the monetary or what's in the account or what's in the check-in or what they have for as the profits and losses, that they're not understanding that they have to become a better version of them. And when you're learning from people like Judge and others who have accomplished things that they have accomplished, you can think easily, oh, Judge, you just tell me the stuff when it comes to the money. What humility? Come on. I'm humble, Judge, but at the same time, man, show me how to get the money. But we can tell that you're not, because you're not even humble enough, or you don't even have humility to listen to somebody who's done it. So not understanding that you're the employee, or you're looking at some people differently and not understanding that you got to tap in, understand what drives them. So Judge and I, we might be driven by the money and understanding how it can change and impact our lives so we can do the good works that God has created us to do. But for somebody else, it might be a charity of their cause. So that can be the thing to push them, because they know, okay, when it gets tough, when it hurts, when I don't want to create and do those things that are going to create the new habits, when I think about that village, or when I think about that small group, or when I think about those teens in the ministry that I'm in, I will do what it takes to get there. Or those parents that I know that I want to retire, I'm willing to put hell on my back and walk through the fire because that fires me up, knowing the look on their face when I'm able to tell them this crappy job, how you've been mistreated, then you don't have to do that anymore. Those are the things that fires us up as entrepreneurs and allow for us to be able to take on those great tasks that we have to take on. And Judge, before we get out here, before we close, man, I just want to just give this to you too as well, man. What would you share to the Judge Graham who was starting off business, didn't know the things that you didn't know, didn't have the foresight to be able to know some of the things that he's going to be hit with, some of the people who were going to quit on him, some of the people who was going to deny him, some people who gave up on him, some tough nights, but also some victorious times too as well. What would you share to a younger Judge Graham man who was starting off into business?
To reach up more, right? I mean, I think, a younger version of me in most everybody that starts as an entrepreneur, like you feel like, hey, I got to carry the cross. I got to do it all on my own. Nobody knows what I'm going through. Nobody can help me. I'm the smartest guy in the room. That's a bad mindset. That's a really bad mindset. And I think a lot of young entrepreneurs fall into that because they're surrounded by friends that this is really good counsel, right? I use the word counsel a lot. I don't use advice, right? Advice is something that's well intended, but typically it's wrong. And most people seek out advice versus counsel. So it could be your partner, your friends, your brother, your mother. And if you're asking something that they haven't achieved or exceeded, then it's advice. Although it's well intended, it's probably wrong. Counsel is when you seek out and somebody's done something that you haven't done or exceeded even dreams you haven't, thought of. That's counsel. And so my counsel would be seeking up and reaching up to get in those rooms, whether you got to pay, whether it's free or not, it becomes a cheat code. That's it. Right? Because the most valuable thing we have is time. And so if you can reduce that time, right, the lessons, the failures, whatever it is, you compound and you grow faster, right? So the counsel would be reach up.
Awesome. Reach up. And before we close it out, Judge tapped into something that I can't leave without talking about this. The right rooms. Please understand and change the language. You're not paying, you are investing. What's the separator? A ROI. I got a return on that investment. The greatest commodity that we have that's priceless is time. And that's what Judge just shared with us. So for those of you who are out there, it's certain things that even if you see it on YouTube University, and I'm not knocking it, get what you can out there. Do your due diligence so you can ask questions of things and you can be on more of a 300 level when you're talking to somebody like Judge or others. Don't go where you haven't even done the remedial task and then you showing up and it's not worth it. So do your due diligence. We don't want to negate that at all. But it's so many entrepreneurs and others, Judge, who desire to go into whatever it is to be successful, but they have the wrong mindset. As Zig Ziglar would say, stinking thinking. They are taught and thought with the employee or a fixed mindset to think that it's wrong or why would I do that? I'm going to learn it myself. Two things that I've been able to look at, and Judge, I want to get your take when it comes to investing to be in the right rooms. Number one, it allows for you to be able to get where you desire faster, like what he says, scale with speed. Also, it allows for you to build relationships that will last forever because you have did the things that others who have come before you did. They invested to be in the right rooms. They're knowing that you're taking this seriously because you're putting your money where your mouth is as well. And something else that I want to make sure that we glean from this is when we look at the power of this, if you change your mind, you produce, you get results because you have put money. Now it's real to you. It's easier to walk away. It's easier not to get the habits. It's easier not to do the work when you haven't put anything down and you can just walk away. So, Judge, that's just my take. But what would you share for those entrepreneurs and people about the importance of investing? Not hoping somebody, not just, hey, can I get a coffee and take your time and pick your brain? No, 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 no. Can you share about that, Judge, the importance of investing in yourself?
Yes, it's huge. I mean, if you, I get, people reaching out, and there's people that are significantly more successful than me. You can't have an entitlement outlook, meaning why why would somebody that's super successful, if you hit them on Facebook or Instagram and say, hey man, I want to meet up for a coffee and I'm gonna buy you coffee, that guy doesn't do coffee. He doesn't take meetings, right? And the last thing he needs is somebody buying him a cup of coffee. You've got to provide value, right? What are you doing to build a relationship or provide value and show that you're willing to invest your time, your money, your whatever it is, for that person to take you seriously? And so um, there's such a entitlement. I mean, I had somebody today reach out and they're just like, hey man, like I followed you a long time. You have 30 minutes for me to pick your brain. Like, no, like I'm like, it just doesn't, it just that's a major turnoff. And people, have to understand, like, you've got to invest, right? You've got to build that relationship, if learn something about the person, right? What's their favorite sports team? Create them a custom memorabilia that they've never had, that's signed by their favorite athlete, and it's framed, and send it to them. That'll get their attention, right? That's investing. What are you doing? You're investing time. You're learning about that individual, right? You're investing money. That now that person may take you more seriously and be willing to provide value back.
That's it. That's it. And I what you just shared is a major turnoff. And if you don't get anything else from what Judge just shared, which is it was filled full of gems, I would just add to this as well when it comes to adding value. You have to be selfless, okay, instead of selfish. See, because it's
Mhm.
selfish to just say, "Hey, let me pick your brain," because you're not thinking at all. Hey, what does Judge get out of this exchange? How can I
Right.
add value to that? So becoming selfless is focusing on how do I add value to that person instead of that entitlement. Because some of you out there might not even know that you're being selfish. Some of you could be unconscious of this. You're just thinking, "Oh, this guy's supposed to help me." But that's entitlement. He busted his tail. He took this time. He put up the money. He did these things. And for you just to show up out of nowhere when it was comfortable for you while you're supposed to be working at your job, and you send him a DM or whatnot on IG, and think he's supposed to drop everything that he has going on in his life just to be able to cater to you, is selfish behavior. So if you hadn't had anybody share that with you, I just wanted to point that out as an example of you understanding, oh, why should I get something for this guy? He already has millions. And you just said, Darren, that he got 8 or 9. No, the person who you care about, the person you want to learn from, that person shouldn't have to pay for anything while they're around you. You should be finding ways to pour into them, because even what they're doing virtually for you is a blessing to you. So when you understand that it's an energy, and it's also a stench from those who are selfish. So you got to understand the law of reciprocity. When they see that you're pouring into things that they have without going on anything, they're like, hey, so what you got going on? Hey, this is something that I notice about you. They will just start pouring into you because they know that you're genuine. They know that you're authentic. And that's the thing that you want to do. But if you got that kind of selfish mindset, that stench, it's about me, 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 like you're getting ready to go sing or something, people can peep that out and they don't want no parts of it. So, Judge, I appreciate you sharing that. Last but not least, Judge, I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on.
Sure.
Nothing but
Absolutely.
gratitude. If people want to connect with you, if they want to get a copy of the books, I want to make sure we have that information in the show notes, the whole nine. But where would you want them to go to learn more about Judge Graham?
JudgeGraham.com.
Okay.
Perfect spot. Right now I'm really focused on these two businesses, but my books and things are on there, and happy to pour in and being around, people like you. I mean, you've been amazing to my life too, and there's been reciprocity there. So love what you're doing, and happy to get on things like this with people I respect and want to help out.
Awesome, awesome, Judge, and I appreciate you. Real quick, Judge, if you don't mind, could you share the businesses for those out there the businesses that you're working on?
Yeah, so one's called American Fleet Insurance.
Okay.
So we insure truckers, think 18-wheelers, Amazon drivers, on the road truckers, and then Cover Badger, which is actually an insurance technology company that works in trucking.
Awesome. Awesome. That's it, man. Fundamental. Once again, Judge Graham, everyone. Parting piece of advice, Judge, before we shut it off.
Parting piece of advice is give something good here. I just really think it's the sacrifice piece, right? I think there's such a differentiator right now in, when we grew up, and this is going to make us sound, old or like our parents, there were some table stakes, right? And some of those table stakes have been lost. And I think for this younger generation that could be listening to this, say you're 18 to early 30s, there's such a division, a divider for you to just accelerate by doing the things that what to me would be table stakes. Show up, care, work hard, right? Those little things are separators now, right? It's amazing if you can pour into that and really give somebody. We're in an environment now where, I'll just change jobs, I'll just change colleges. Who's going to pay me enough in NIL, this and that? Like, we have created this self-ish environment, and if you can become more selfless, you're gonna win. You're gonna get in the right rooms. You're gonna be around the right people. You're gonna form the right teams, and you will separate and be successful.
Ooh, man, you heard it from the man, Judge Graham. Thank you again, Judge, for coming on to the show. And also, I want to appreciate you, our viewers, those who are coming in, sponsors, for being able to participate in this momentous occasion. We got a titan of industry on today who took time out of his schedule from his family to pour into us. So make sure that you go get copies of the book, judgegraham.com. Make sure that you follow Judge on all the social media platforms too as well. Find a way that you can pour in, let people know about the businesses and the things that he has going on or whatnot. They can benefit from his company and their services. But Judge, thank you again. I appreciate you for coming on. And until next time, remember, let your next move be your best move. Until then, be blessed and be great, and we're out. Hey, it's your main man, Darren M. Palmer. Hey, I want to reach out to you. For those business owners out there, would you benefit by being able to have the money that you are making, the hard-earned dollars that you made, to have them in tax-free vehicles? Would you want to grow your money and have a better rate than you will have in a savings account that you got at your local bank that's less than 1%? If you want to know more about being your own bank and how to be able to leverage these vehicles, reach out to us today. We would love to be able to connect with you at prosperitypartnersagency@gmail.com, or you can reach out at 281-630-2730 to me personally, because I want to help you have clarity and how to be able to have clarity of vision, which will allow for you, your family, and your business and your community to be able to accomplish your known goal. Until next time, be blessed and be great.